ahead and call our Peabody Public Land Board of Trustees meeting to order and go ahead and get started right away with our boiler project, bid discussion and award.
Logan Van from Primary Engineering is here to talk about that. I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. I'm going to start just kind of go through the bid that occurred last week. Just go through the numbers, let you know what the numbers actually mean, and then I'm here to hopefully answer any questions that you might have. I passed out this recommendation letter. Not sure if you've had a chance to look at it yet. I'll just turn to the last page that has all the numbers of the bid results. Looking through the bids, we had 4 contractors bid the project, which was good. We had lots of interest. All 4 of them were below the hard limit that this project was set up to. One of them was pretty close to our original estimate that we gave you. We're shooting for $230,000, and it looks like that project design and piping is below that. They are the apparent low bidder at a total of $222,930. What that number gets you is it gets you the new boiler room, all the construction that goes with that, all the miscellaneous piping and electrical work that goes along with that. Some of the alternates that account into that number is you get a new hot water expansion tank, which that will help your overall system. We are also going to get rid of the old boilers that are in there. They're going to be taken out and run somewhere else. And then we will also convert some of the controls over to the new Niagara 4 front end system. And that just helps because the current system that you guys are running on is old. They're no longer making parts for it, I believe, but they are still servicing it. So here soon in the future that it will need upgraded, but as of right now, it doesn't have to be, so it's nice being able to do it now. Like I said, all 4 bids were within the budget, so that is good. We ran some more number calculations, and the variance or the difference between all the numbers was 13%, which we typically like to see about 10% is normal, so 13% is not terrible. We talked with Project Design and Piping just to make sure that they were confident in their number, like they didn't forget anything, they added up all the numbers correctly, and they are confident with their number. So why there is a $30,000 difference roughly, we think because some of their subcontractors, such as like their ductwork guy or their electrical guy that they're using for the project, might have given them better numbers than the other competitors. We can go into that further. I know for the most part they're all using the same contractors, but there are a couple that were different, so that's where we think that number difference came from. So that $30,000 difference, we are not too worried about that. It is a lot of money difference, but we don't think, we're confident in project design that they'll take care of everything. Going forward, once this project is going, and you are carrying a $10,000 allowance, which that money is for once they're in there tearing stuff up, if they see something that was not accounted for, that money's there to take care of that. But then at the end of the project, if there is any money left over, that gets credited back to you guys. So if they use $0, you get your $10,000 back, which is nice because you can either pocket that. I'm not sure how the financials all work, but you can pocket it, save it for next year, or you can possibly try to add additional scope, such as maybe trying to do more controls work, like for some of these air handlers, or I know you mentioned you want some more aesthetic looking carpet up there and maybe some lighting, you can possibly try to tack that onto this project. But still, either way, you could possibly get $10,000 back, or that's there to help if something is unseen in the project. Once the project has been awarded and all the legal stuff, financial stuff's all squared away, we will then sit down with presumably project design and piping, and we will have a what we call pre-construction meeting, probably here at the library with Mary to go over some more detailed logistics, such as, you know, where are they parking, what time can they come in the building, what door to use, are they using your bathrooms, do they have to get porta john type stuff, or all sorts of stuff like that. But once the project has been awarded, they can get moving, so we want to award the project as soon as we can so they can start ordering their parts. They can start coming in here and demoing some of the piping and miscellaneous stuff. They can start working on that as soon as possible. Trying to think, I have a list here of stuff I wanted to make sure I covered. That was it. Overall, we're happy with the numbers that came in and the interest in the project. And from our letter, we recommend that project design and piping gets awarded the project. We think they have everything covered and they'll do a good job.
And you have met with them, you said, talked?
Yeah, we called and talked to the people who looked at the project and came up with the numbers, and you feel fine with their number.
Have you worked with them in the past?
We have. I know Mike has worked on them in a couple projects, and they've done fine.
Is it a Fort Wayne company, or?
Yeah, they're from Fort Wayne.
They are working on the high school.
Yes. And we feel like that could be a reason why they got good numbers, because they bought so much material over there that these manufacturers are giving them a good rate, because they just bought a lot of piping or whatever over at the high school, you know. So we feel like that could be a reason why they also got better numbers than somebody else.
What are the advantages of like okaying project design and piping tonight for you to get this rolling? What does the timeline look like?
So if tonight you say, yeah, go ahead with project design, obviously tomorrow the attorney will look at it, and once you guys get that signed, we will, ourselves will sign it, and then we will also give it to project design and sign it. So all three parties will agree that this contract's good and we can start working. So then presumably, probably Friday or Monday, they can start doing their work, start ordering parts. They can, I would guess they can probably come in here and start working if they want. So all that just helps get them moving, and they can try to finish this project up before summer.
And Mary, is that what you were looking at?
That's exactly what I'm looking for, because I think a lot of the interest came in, which, by the way, that was really, it was 20 till 10, and we hadn't got one bid in, and Linda and I are sweating it out, but we're not going to get any bids. And then Mike came in and said, oh, no, Mary, they wait till the last minute. So somebody brought one in 9:56, 57, 58, and 59. That's when they all came in. So, but I felt really good to see that. But I think the other thing is that Mike was telling them, this is a project you can do now and be ready to go for your summer projects.
Yeah, because a lot of these companies, they have a lot of schoolwork during the summer, because that's when the kids are in the school. They have 2 months to do their projects, so they're just slammed. I was talking with another contractor, different project, but they were asking if they wanted to take this project, and they said no, we're just so busy this summer, they don't want any more work. They're filled up. So we tried to aim this towards a spring project. You can come in, get it done, and you can still also go to your summer jobs that you already have lined up. We didn't want to fear them away because they feel like they'd be too busy.
I have a question on the price, which is selected, which alternates did we select?
There are 3 alternates. We are selecting number 2 and number 3. Number 1 was to leave the boilers where they are. So we're not gonna accept that. We're gonna take that $800, I think it is, to remove that. We put that alternate in case numbers were super tight. $800 might go a long way. So that,
Then we gotta tear them apart later on and move them out?
no.
No, they take care of it.
No, they are doing that,
They are.
yes. This,
So
this
it's part of
company,
the waste bid. If you deleted it, it's alternate number one.
well, base bid is everything that was in the project except for the alternates.
Okay.
So then,
But it says removal of existing alternates is alternate number one.
yes,
So you deleted it.
yes, yes, you are correct. Yeah, so what you're getting with that $222,930, old boilers are going away, new expansion tank, and some new controls.
We're getting all the alternates.
Yes. Yeah, because alternate one, I think I'm looking at it backwards, is a deduct alternate.
That should be in parentheses, right?
Yes.
It's a deduct.
Yeah.
It's a credit.
Yeah. Yeah, so the other two are adds, and the first one's a deduct, so I'm looking at it
Okay.
backwards.
So they are gonna be removed.
Yes.
And they credit that to us because what they could scrap, get credit for those as scrap or, I mean,
I want to say the way it works, they said, project design piping said, to get those boilers out is going to cost us $800. So then ultimately, or we'll give you $800 back if you accept this. And we said no, take them out. So we're spending $800 to get them
oh, I see, okay.
out. I might be confusing. I might be saying it's all backwards. But really, what's happening is they're going to get them out of your way.
We're gonna go ahead and
Because that was what
not have them do that.
what your recommendation would be, was the $222,930.
Yeah, you could save $800, but those boilers are going to stay there, and I don't think that's what we want.
Not for 800.
No.
Well, we're hoping to use that, Mark will turn that into his maintenance room.
And see, some of the, for example, Shambaugh and Sons said it would have cost them $2,000, so for that one, okay, maybe saving $2,000 might be worth it, but.
So this is if the bids were really close or over what we
Yeah,
were
if they're,
looking for.
say, because I know the limit was, I think it was 270. And say if all numbers were at 270 and you're like, we're $1 over, crap, the project's done now, then we could say, no, keep them there, save $2,000, let the project go on, we'll worry about this tomorrow.
Okay.
But it's like, they're not at that limit, so. Which is good.
How long has that project design been in business? Quite a few years?
I do not know what I'm looking
It's
at.
1986, and so how do I know that? Because I did a Better Business Bureau check on it. I just have to remember where I did
And their main office is Fort Wayne?
I believe it's Fort Wayne.
Okay.
I don't know if they have other locations or what, but I think they're Fort
They are
Wayne.
the general contractor there at the high
Oh, I know where it
school
is.
for heating and plumbing, et cetera.
Are you asking if the same contractor from high school will be working here? I'm sure.
Is that what it is?
I'm not sure yet. I don't know who their project manager would be.
Okay,
I got a question, excuse me, I got
Okay.
one more.
Yep.
On the contingency of $10,000.
Yep.
What goes over? I haven't read this contract. But if it goes over, is it then something? that
Like if
becomes negotiated?
something breaks or whatever and it costs 12,000, is that what you're asking?
Or 12 or 15 or whatever?
Right. I might have to double check with Mike, but I believe then, if something happens and the bill comes back to more than 10,000, then that difference, I believe, I want to say the library will have to pay for it, I want to say. Depending on, because I'm not sure if it's,
I think it would depend on.
Who's-
I think it would depend on what cost the overage or.
who's to blame, why, you know what.
Yeah, but I think when something goes over, you negotiate with Mary or somebody, not just go ahead and do it when you build it. Generally, you sit down.
I think, usually, I think we would have to approve
Yeah.
anything that was over.
Well, I think you have to prove anything
I
within
think-
10,000.
Yes, yes. That would come back to this board for approval. And whether or not it would be something we'd even consider doing would be if it was, I'm trying to think of something, outdoors, it's a lot easier to think of. Inside, I suppose it's, if they find a hornet's nest in a wall that needs to be, that nobody could have anticipated that needs to be
Well, if you had a
addressed.
water line, that's all of a sudden piping where that
Well, of course, if they hit it, our position, I would think, would be that's their fault, but, so, I was trying to guess, it was something unanticipated that nobody could have reasonably anticipated. I guess we'd be looking at, we might guess.
Yeah, and I can double check with Mike. I'm not positive how that all works, because I know there's, something happens, they like to start playing the blame game and who's paying for it. But I think if,
Maybe it's in here, it goes through. I don't know.
it might be hidden in all the legal stuff. I haven't read through it completely, but
So with any issues or pieces that we have, we talk to you, and then you talk to the contractors, or?
I think any issues, like if the contractor brings something up, they would send us their questions like, hey, we found this, what do we do, what's the next step? Then we can either, is it something just, yeah, move this, do that, but I think if it's a big item, then yeah, we'll have to sit down with Mary, who might have to talk with you guys at the next board meeting. But see, then I start seeing that it might be a problem, because then we need an answer, well, board meeting's not until next month.
Your service agreement, you are supervising.
I think we are supervising and looking out for you guys, so I think in that case, we act on your guys' behalf. We don't have to necessarily wait.
And we've designated a representative, which is Don, in this AIA agreement. Don, if you don't mind. So my guess is, because they probably want somebody to call, but I noticed that was Don's name in there, so I would think that would be the contact. If that's okay with you.
You know, you guys are something else, two attorneys. I walk in the building and they slap me.
I did not
Where's
put
where are
this,
you?
I was already in here, I just read over it, oh, done, good, it's not me, and then I closed it back up.
You know, but Mary's got to know right away.
That's
The
true.
only thing, I think with all the other things that have happened in this building over the years, the money we spent, we shouldn't.
Right.
And if we can correct something right when we're doing it, or something's wrong, I mean, let's jump on that.
Right.
Take care of it, let Mary know, talk about it, get it done.
Yep.
And
He's
Don-
right, you're our guy there.
Yeah, yeah.
Don, if it gets more complicated too, Mary could do a special meeting,
Yeah.
and we could get a quorum here, and we could get it taken care of, I imagine.
One thing I did just think of, I don't know if it's prudent or anything, but say you guys don't take this recommendation, that's, you know what, we don't want project design and piping, whether, you know, I just don't like them. You don't want them. There will be legal battles then.
I'm gonna tell you, that would not be a good idea.
Then, yeah,
The
there's-
state law requires that we award this to the lowest responsible.
Because it
responsive
isn't
bidder.
a public.
So we can ask a lot of questions of background, but if we're not going to do this, we better have an extraordinarily good reason, or we're
Yes.
looking at a lawsuit.
And they did get rated well with Better Business Bureau. I did get that information. Don has it right now, so.
What is this?
That's the bid they gave in, and then the top bid is the Better Business
Okay,
Bureau
that's
rating.
right.
And the information, and it tells you on there that they opened in 1986.
I mean, the meeting's the call to order.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Right, I think it's on that document.
As soon as discussion's on that. so-
But they're in full.
Perfect.
So it is, Logan, your recommendation from primary engineering that we do go with project design?
Yes, that's our recommendation. Project design and piping should get this project, and then we can start, you know, Once you guys take a
We'll
look
just sign
and,
the contract and get that back to them before they can.
okay, you guys will sign it, then we will, and then we'll give it to project design, and then basically the project's to go, and we'll go from there.
Well, yeah, how many times are you on the job reviewing what they're doing, what's going on?
I know, well, if they ever have any questions, we can come out. If they call us every day, we can come out. But I think in the contract, I think
Every 2 weeks.
2 weeks, I was gonna say it's, because I think originally
Once
it was
a month.
once and then you wanted more.
I wanted every 2 weeks,
So at least every 2
Something else
weeks.
happens.
Yep, and then if something happens, they want us to come out, we'll come out. We're not gonna say no. So at least twice a month, maybe more.
Is there any other questions?
Well, other than, I'm going to assume that Don recuses himself from the vote since he's the one that would have to sign as far as the president of Leasing Corporation.
Talked about that before you, okay, why you?
I don't know if it makes any difference.
Why didn't you just trying to protect?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you think there's even an issue, Don, if you don't mind, like I said, I think that, I don't know that we have a whole, we technically have discretion, but I don't know that we have a whole lot of discretion. This is
Right.
our contract.
Correct.
I'm gonna recommend he recuse. I don't know that there will be issues, but unless we think there's gonna be a close vote.
Well, I don't want the whole Congress to come after me.
I will move that we award the project to Project Design and Ivy Inc.
It's been moved, we have a second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
There's one more question.
Did
carries.
Don?
That's perfect. And Don recused
Yeah,
himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Warranties, guarantees of labor, warranties, et cetera.
I'd have to double check, but I think, I know all the parts have, their manufacturer warranty, but I think they have 1 year, warranty on all their labor. So then, I believe at the 11th month that the project is substantially complete, we will come back out here, schedule a meeting with them, walk through the whole building, walk with Mary and whoever, facility guys or whoever, and we'll make sure nothing is leaking while it's still under warranty. I think there's the 1 year labor warranty, and then there's also additional years for like the parts.
No labor's a big thing.
Yeah, labor's probably the most important thing.
And Don, thank you for going through with John and signing. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Anything else you need from us, Logan, or?
Nope, I think that's it. Right now we'll wait for some signatures, and then from there we'll take care of everything.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, thank you. Good, thank you.
Thank you for coming out, really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad we got the project going and it's moving up.
Yeah. Okay, so while Logan's loading up here, thanks Logan.
Yep. Good.
Any questions on the minutes from last meeting? Anyone have any questions on it?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
All right. Have a motion to approve the minutes and a second.
Second?
And seconded. Hearing no discussion or questions, all those in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Had a whole,
Okay.
Not recused.
All right.
it was a practice.
Motion carries, all right. So, moving into the reports, we do have
We
some,
approve the,
I thought we had put him on there when we were finance.
oh, the Board of Finance, I am, yeah, Board of Finance, I am so sorry, I forgot about the Board of
No
Finance.
problem.
Looking over the Board of Finance, anybody have any questions on the Board of Finance meetings?
Move that we approve the Board of Finance minutes from January 9th, 2019.
Moved, and we have a second.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
None gone. Opposed? And which was okay. All right, motion carries.
You can hand those down to Margaret.
Okay. Sorry, thank you. And then in the reports, the Friends of the Library reports.
The Friends actually did not meet in January. I think it was a snowy day or something, so they decided not to meet. So I really don't have anything to report there. A couple of things I did want to let you know before I get into the director's report. The city of Columbia City is no longer mowing easements. So I did ask Hodges Property Management to give us a quote on what it would cost for them to do those easements for us. So
Did they already mow for us, or?
they've always done it and they're not doing it anymore. And here's a letter from the mayor.
Where are the easements out
No, but
along
who's
the?
mowing right now? Is it?
Hodges.
This one, no.
No, Hodges,
The rest of
is
it.
our
Hodges is,
contractor.
yeah.
That's what I meant. They're already our contractor. That's what I was
Yeah.
asking.
Thank you, Greg.
That's okay.
I asked it wrong.
No, it was a little pronoun confusion there as to what we meant or them. I knew what he meant, and I knew what you were saying. The city had mown these, but they don't
The city had
anymore.
it.
But Hodges
Hodges
does
is
all
our
of our
mowing.
mowing, and we're gonna see if they can do the
What
easements.
was, what is the reason they're not gonna do it anymore? Do they just
They are
not?
spending a lot of money on mowing easements and now they were doing it as being nice. And now they're saying the property owners need to maintain the easements.
Which is more typical, by the way. I don't know of any other municipality right offhand with those easements.
The other thing I need to let you know, everybody should have a copy, Greg, I'm bringing yours right now, of the Community Foundation, the balances of the two accounts that we have with them. At last month's finance meeting, I had given you the most current, which was from September. That is actually December. Okay, the Cetera account has $101,883.93 in it. It does mature as of March 1st. And at that time, we'll need to decide whether or not we're going to go ahead and liquidate that money and put it back into rainy day fund or what. We will take care of it at the next meeting.
And do you have a thought about what you prefer to do?
I want to put it in rainy day fund because when I do the budget in June, I need to show that I have the money in rainy day fund that we spend it. You understand what I'm saying? So if it's not in the account, they're going to say, Mary, how can you spend $300,000 when you only have $200,000?
What was the, just the balance on there?
Yeah, the balance.
What it was gonna mature at is on there.
It's on there. But we have another month, so. The other thing, I need to just tell you about this. I'm not sure quite how to handle it. We had somebody come in, they wanted us to purchase a DVD, but the DVD was $75, which is more than we normally spend on anything like that. And this person then gave us $100 because we buy things when people donate and we put it to our collection. So we thought this was a donation to us for $100 to cover the cost of the DVD, the processing and the shipping and handling. Well, he has come back to say that he wants his money returned to him. So, we normally don't do refunds. I've never had anybody want a refund on a donation. But I'm just asking you.
I'm curious, I got confused with some
We
pronouns.
did purchase it.
Did the same person that was trying to sell us the DVD offer the $100?
It was in the discussion, when they wanted us to buy it, we said we will
They-
buy it from
They
him.
requested
Yeah, they requested.
that it be purchased on the
Correct.
market, and it was expensive.
Correct.
And they said, well, I'll donate the money to cover it.
Well, we thought that's what he
Okay.
said, but now after we've gotten it and it's been marked and he checked it out, he's now saying he wants his money returned to him because it wasn't a donation, he thought that we bought it for him. He thought the library purchased the
Oh, that he would
DVD
keep
for
it?
him because the people that sell this DVD only sell to schools and libraries.
What is the DVD?
It's called Dawnland.
Is it
It's
documentary
about-
or?
It's about Native Americans.
Is it in circulation now?
It's in circulation right now. It is checked out
To that person?
to that person.
He thought he was gonna, that you were just buying it for him to keep for himself.
Have we
You
ever
were
done
just
that before?
purchasing
No,
a-
and we wouldn't, because to me, that would be unethical, but.
Well, you're circumventing, if they only sell it to institutions, you're circumventing their rules. I would think they would
Right.
have a problem with that.
As long as it stays in our circulation, you just sort of undonated.
Well,
And we have done.
And that's the question is, yeah, he is saying there was a misunderstanding,
Correct.
that this was not him making a donation so that you could purchase it for the collection. It was me giving you money to have the DVD purchased for me.
Correct.
But we've now got the DVD.
Correct.
I imagine we can't return the DVD.
No.
And he has absolute free access to the DVD that he wanted,
Correct.
But he can't keep it.
but he can't keep it, and he wants his money back even though he has absolute use of it.
So what if he checks it out and never brings it back?
That could happen. He'll get billed for it.
Well, I mean, basically, if you turn around and give him his 100 back, if we have it, he checks it out, he's got his money back plus the DVD. So I think one decision gonna make one or the other.
Bring the DVD back.
With your money. And you can't ever check it out again.
I think it's better just to.
Well, I'm just, as a question, this is-
I think there could have been a misunderstanding. I think there could have been a misunderstanding. So I'm starting with that in mind. But even with that, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because again, he has effectively dictated what was in our collection. We thought, which we were willing to do if he was going to pay for it, and treat it as if it had been a donated DVD, roughly.
What
Right,
did the
and
total
he
price
did get a
come to?
letter from me thanking him for the donation.
What did the total price come to?
I would have to look for sure, but probably $97 or something like that, with shipping and the processing and all of that.
Can we put his name on the front of it, and a little tag, donated by, and give him his $3 back? Whatever was.
Is there any way to give him credits? I'm trying to, so we don't really have stored credits here.
It would have been something we would have purchased for the collection, had
No.
someone
Not
not
at that price,
requested
not
it.
at that
It had
price
not been
point.
requested, if it had not been requested, no, we would not have purchased it because it was very expensive.
So had it not been requested and paid?
Paid for, correct.
Did you have any problem for him to add that $100 to you? Or did you just come out and say he was on
Were you there when it all took place?
No, I was not there when it,
it? He was
he's
just
there in the
forked it
library.
over, I think.
Yes,
he had-
yes,
he had
That's what I was
that.
thinking.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
a member.
Check or cash or?
He gave us a check.
When did he ask for his money back? Was it when he got the thank you letter from the library?
Well, I believe it was, he talked to Katie Southern on Friday, and then I think he spoke with her again on maybe over the weekend.
What's the time frame, the timeline? Like, when did he request it, when did we? when did we
That
order
I
it?
don't
Yeah.
have, I know the thank you letter went out February 1st.
I guess what I'm trying to think is, the thank you for the donation, I would have thought would have been him going, oh, wait a second, this wasn't a donation. And I would have thought that would have been, if this was a legitimate misunderstanding, that would have been the time to call, say, February 5th, 6th, and say, wait a second, I think there was a misunderstanding. That I didn't intend that as a donation.
I wanted you to buy it.
I wanted you to buy it for me. As opposed to, oh, I got a nice thank you for a donation to the library. Oh, wait, this is, and only realized that it was not going to be his personally, was that when it got questioned. And I'm.
Did he have the DVD at that point?
I don't know when he picked it up. I don't know
Because
when it came in or
As
when
soon as
he
he
picked
came
it
in
up.
and they made him check it out, he would realize
Right.
that
Well, he should have
didn't own
realized it when he got that letter.
Yeah. He
Uh,
should
But
have
which
come
happened
and checked it
first?
out
I can't
today.
answer that.
Because part of my problem with giving a refund, I'll just be real honest, is we've already sent him a letter that he's made it a tax deductible donation.
Okay.
And I don't know how we unsend that. Maybe you do. I don't know how we
I don't know.
I assume that he can take that and do his tax
Well,
preparer.
I don't mention any amounts or anything like that.
Okay,
It's
okay,
not
so it
one
wasn't-
that, it's not a receipted.
Okay, so it wouldn't
letter.
be something that you could, okay.
No.
What's your gut on it?
Is that heavily requested?
Well, it's never happened that I've had to give a donation back. My first reaction was absolutely no way.
What do we normally spend on a DVD? If someone requests a DVD, then the library's like, okay, we'll add that to our
Yeah,
budget.
what would be our
normally
limit?
spend?
$25 to $30.
So 30.
And sometimes we get, sometimes we buy them for $5. I mean, it just depends.
Is that very popular, that one?
Well, we don't know
He's
because
had it.
only
He's
one
had it.
person has
One
checked it
person.
out at this time
How long can he have it checked?
for 1 week. And he checked it out for the second time. So you can get a renewal. You can check it out for 1 week, but you can get a renewal one more time.
See what he does.
Is,
Might not even bring it back.
is he in the library district, is he a taxpayer?
He's actually Larwell, so he's a South Whitley.
He came in as an evergreen member or?
Correct, and I don't know at the time that we knew he was a South Whitley.
So he doesn't even pay taxes or anything
To our library.
to our library.
Correct.
Why do you so
He is
quickly
evergreen.
give it for him?
Or do an interlibrary loan?
Because I don't think Katie realized at the time that he was in the South Whitley library.
I just wonder why he didn't go to South Woodland.
Why don't we see if South Woodland wants it? Wants the DVD, and wants to buy the DVD.
What is it that only a school or a library would be?
But that's
But-
who sold it.
Maybe I cut you off, I never heard what your gut level.
My gut was not to fund the
Okay.
money. At the same time, it is a donation, and I don't know what the political repercussions will be if we don't refund it.
I'm kind of thinking that the library would normally spend $30 on any DVD if someone would come in and request one. Above and beyond that, if he gave you money to purchase it, that would him be, wanting for the collection. So as part of the library, I wouldn't see why we would refund him $30 of that. That's what we would have been. Or is that just a can of worms altogether? Yeah, okay.
Seems like it, yeah.
Do we want to ask him to come in and talk to us? Or not?
I could do that, but I think it's easier if we just make a decision here and now and we'll
If
deal
we
with it.
keep this DVD, that's more than we'd spend, but we keep it,
I just give
give
him
him his money back,
Do
and
they just go by the road?
Yeah.
Is that where they want to buy
he
it?
doesn't keep his.
We're on this edge.
No, that's not something where
Chalk it
that
up
would even
with
be considered. I don't like any of the options, but I'm
He may
afraid,
think that if we don't give the money back.
but I'm afraid that one person irritated thinking that we tricked them to get a donation is probably not worth $100. We've added it to the collection. Next time we have a situation like that, I think maybe we write them a receipt.
We have it, it has to be in writing
Yeah.
that this is considered a donation and it's the library's. Yes, I agree.
Well, that's a plus. I mean, that we're.
It's a
doing new
learning,
stuff.
it's a learning,
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a plus.
learning experience. So when he brings it back,
Okay.
I'll go ahead and move that we refund the $100 donation upon return of the DVD to our collection, and that we call it a lesson learned and a goodwill gesture. And I think that's the end of my motion. Sorry.
We were waiting.
Been moved.
Yeah, make sure the DVD still works.
All right.
Been moved. Any, we have a second? Moved and seconded. Thank you, Greg. All those in favor? Aye.
I,
Opposed? Abstained?
not happily, but
What a
Okay.
interesting situation.
I know. Then the other thing we did, we got a phone call from Miller's Ferry Manor wanting to know if one of our notaries could go down to Miller's clients or patients or however you want. And my first, their residents, my first reaction was, oh, that would be a nice thing to do, and then I stopped and thought about it. So if we do that for them, do we do that for everyone? And does that mean I'm having my notaries go to homes? I mean.
Notary on the go. I like it. I think it's a new
Yeah.
enterprise.
So-
Mobile notary.
Mobile notary.
And I also thought if the staff, because it's free, if you come to the library, they notarize for free here. But if they're gonna require, or people are gonna ask us to go to them, then maybe we need to charge for that.
Do we go to Miller's Mariner anyway? We don't have those.
Yeah, but you're asking people that don't do that from that department, because my notaries are Linda and Darla, and they're people that are in the building.
They don't
They don't.
go out. to-
Now, one notary would be okay with it, the other one doesn't want to do it, and thinks opening up a can of worms, so.
Would we just leave that to the notary to decide? Or you're saying if they go, they'd have to, we would be paying them, they would be
Right,
traveling?
this is a new service for us. We've never had notary on the go. I like it, Greg, I'm gonna steal it. But at
The
same-
problem is, I think they limit you to charging $2 for notary service, and I don't know if you can charge a service charge for the transport.
Oh, I thought you could charge more. I thought there was some places
It's-
charging up to $25.
I think it's, and I'll check by statute,
Okay.
it used to be very, very strictly limited what you could charge.
Okay.
They're gonna drive somewhere and use gas and so forth. And I mean, I would think that we'd have to pay them, but they expect.
But they would be working on the, at the
They
time.
would be on the clock.
They'd
Maybe on the clock.
Yeah,
I guess it would be
Yeah.
maybe expense.
You're saying that other person as well?
No,
is in
what I'm
charge,
saying,
or-
they're on the clock, but when they're on the clock, they will pay us.
Yeah, that's true.
Once they get in their car.
Oh, we-
This is, okay, Margaret, they seriously don't have a notary?
Well, that was my question too. I'm like, how could a nursing home not have?
Because they would have people.
Exactly, that had
Signing
all kinds
papers
of
all the time.
That was my reaction
In the
too.
administration, they should have something.
They have multiple locations also. It's not like-
That could be. Did somebody go out and do it, or was?
No, we did not do it because I said, I'm not gonna say, because I'm talking to you guys about it first before I open a can of worms.
How many notaries you got in your office?
Hmm?
How many
Feeling
people
is
over there?
Millers.
Should have their own.
Should have their own, or they
I
should take
think
care of it.
everybody in our office is a notary. I think each of the attorneys, unless you're a deputy prosecutor or something, most of the attorney or a judge or an elected.
They're all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open the door and there's one there.
And they're welcome.
The Millers.
They're-
Was it Miller's Oak Point or Miller's Mary
Can't come
Manor?
to the library.
Pardon me?
Do you know if it was Miller's Oak Point or Miller's Mary Manor?
I think it was on point.
Okay.
Um,
Which is weird because I'm out there almost every day.
There you go.
Maybe I need to wear a notary.
Yeah.
Notary on the.
Hi.
I know there are a lot of-
Notary on the go.
Can I
I'm
notarize
gonna make
it?
you one of those sandwich signs to put on the front. I'm here to notarize today if anybody needs one. Put it out there.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that we're gonna decline.
I don't know how we would do that
Okay.
reasonably. I think
Surely they have
it
somebody
would-
solve that easier.
Okay.
With that said,
Administration, I would think.
with that said, if you get a call, like I say, I'm out at the nursing homes.
Oh, so we can give them your name.
Matt and Tim made, I mean.
Okay.
Are you soliciting?
The attorneys oftentimes are out at the nursing homes all the time, and most of them are notaries.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much on that.
Maybe it was just a one-time thing, was that, or was it, were they looking for?
Didn't hurt.
I did not get the phone call. Darla Lovely got the phone call and she called me.
Doesn't hurt to ask, they may
Their
have called several
person,
places.
maybe their person, their notary was just not there that day or something, or maybe in the
That's
next
what it
2
was.
hours or.
Emergency notary service. The notary staff.
24/7.
There you go. Oh, they're all in sandwich.
We're on TV. Okay, director's report. Kid, are we okay? Are we keep going?
Yeah.
Sorry. Caleb Muzzy has been hired as the new circulation clerk. He took the place of Karen, who was promoted to lead circulation clerk when Maddie left. You should have gotten a copy of the employee survey. And I did ask Kelly not to come to this meeting because we had so much to cover. But if you want her to come next month, I certainly can ask her to go over it. Or if you're fine with what you have received.
But I thought it was helpful. I worked backwards sometimes from the percentages to figure out how many people actually would have answered particular ways. And so a lot of times there was just one or two people that were of a certain mind, which when you stick a 10% on it, it sounds like a larger number than 1 or 5% is one person.
Yeah.
That's,
A sample here.
That's true.
but no, I don't.
The staff, Kelly will be coming to the meeting on Friday. We're gonna have her come and talk to the staff about the findings from the survey.
That's for Friday.
Yeah. She'll be here Friday at 2 o'clock. All right. Did you want to talk about the survey
Well,
with me?
No, I guess not. The only one that I was looking at was like question 15. Do you feel your current wage is reasonable? And it was split 50-50.
That was before.
Before the salary schedule went out? Okay. Did you think any of that changed or? Okay. I just thought that one was interesting.
Yeah, that seemed to be closest, not really necessarily to consensus, but.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelly, when she talked to me briefly, said, when you compare it to the one we did in 2016, the numbers improved, so.
We have a nice place to work, but that's not our main mission.
So, anybody have any other comments you wanted to make about the survey? Okay, the annual report, you should have gotten a copy of that in your board packet. And I would just need to know if there's numbers you're concerned about or issues you're concerned about that I need to look at and change. And Greg, I got your change on Beth, because you're right, I have her, yeah. I had her leaving date the same date as her starting date. Let's not smart.
What an impact.
So, the big thing I want to mention is, did you notice how many more people came to programming?
Yeah.
You jumped 10,000, and that's because of going to the schools. I know that's in schools. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think some of our library card stats are going down a bit, but it's not that much, so I'm not overly concerned about that.
But the programming is the on-site stuff we're counting for the schools, right? Or does it generate more traffic here too?
Well, robotics generates people to come in, but the reason there was such a huge increase is because of us going to the schools.
Okay.
So,
Oh, that's still.
so those numbers are good. Our CERC numbers are good. Our over digital, it's really good. I mean, if you look, we were going up. So, overall increase. So if, Chris, you could sign, if you feel comfortable signing that document I gave you, then I
This
can go
one?
ahead and submit it.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as everybody's okay with what they've seen, then, okay.
Okay, we already talked about the project bids. Boilers. I'm telling you, it's been a rough winter. I come in and sometimes the building's really, really cold, and then I'll go in there and the boilers are on standby, they're operating, but they're not heating the building. So I have to press a couple buttons and I'll get them going. The system, the management system for the boilers, they're not communicating with one another. And I'm just gonna bide my time, but I'm just letting you know it's become a real pain in the butt. But we're dealing with it, we're trying to get this fixed, so.
I mean, this is exactly what our project is about, correct?
Correct. But it's frustrating, because we were down to one boiler for about a week. And then he came in again, and we're hoping he tweaked a few things, and we'll hope we can keep them running, but.
Some mornings you think it's like trying to start chitty chitty bang bang.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we were closed during that really severe weather.
How about yesterday?
I was open. I did shovel ice for an hour and 15 They came out and they treated the sidewalks and they treated the parking lot, but it was
Terrible.
like a quarter of an inch thick, so I just went out there. And then Landon got back with me, and he came out and did the rest of the walks, but. And we did have a fall a couple of weeks ago, I don't know that I mentioned that to you, and the insurance company did get involved with that, so. Goodwill donations, I do need to get your approval for giving away the things I listed on February 5th. I've done this before, we've done this before, but I need your approval. I know this is after the fact, but I figured I could get them out on February 5th, and I wanted it before we were gonna have to clean up.
Move to
on Friday.
ratify the director's decision to send surplus equipment to Goodwill Industries.
Moved. Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Okay, real quick, Battle of the Books is coming up on March 23rd. We're looking forward to that. Katie DeWitt is working on a promotional video that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and once I have it, I will share that with you. The expo is March 9th, and we will have people there, and Beth and Jamie will be doing robotics and STEAM kits, so we're hoping that'll be a draw. Salary schedule. You should have a copy of the new salary schedule. Now, what happened with that was, back in June, when I did the first salary schedule that you need to look at for the budget, I had put in new adult person, and I put in the amount of $40,000. So when I put Katie in, it changed the amount from 40 to 41,000. She's been paid 41,000, it was just on there incorrectly. And that's just because I plugged her name in, not looking at it carefully. So I'm sorry about that. Karen was promoted. Elizabeth Kronwitter is new, and she started, and then we had added Kayla. So you have a new salary schedule that I need approval on.
Can we add zeros for Christie's and Emma's, so they all have 2 digits after the decimal?
Okay, that's a clerical thing, and yes, I will do that, but you'll still approve it, right?
Yeah, well, I was
Nobody
just.
gets paid till then.
No, that was not it. I was just, they all have 2 decimals. Oh, yeah. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it, and I just.
Christie and Emma.
I will move that we approve the amended salary schedule as presented.
Move, we have a second? Discussion, all those in favor of approving the salary schedule?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And you need our signatures on that one as well.
Correct.
As well
On that one sheet. Not this copy, but our official copy sheet, there's signatures on that one.
Oh, I thought we.
I did say as well, I did say as well.
There was already one that had gone by, and I
Nope,
said I haven't
sorry.
signed
That was.
anything.
Okay, then the only other discussion I have is for building projects. What I'd like to propose is, instead of doing the controls for for the HVAC, so air handling units and the chiller and the boiler and all those things, other than what we are doing in 2019 with the boiler project, that we move that project back a year, so to 2021, so that in 2020, we can replace the flooring upstairs and get it painted. And also, I want to check in to see what it would cost to have the women's restroom upstairs redone, because that was one of the issues in the survey as well, and that's always been in the survey, that people are not happy with the cleanliness or the look of the females' restroom.
And I understood there was a cleaning problem or an issue with that. How is remodeling going to solve that? Is it the facility?
I just think it's old. I mean,
It's
if
just
you
old,
look,
okay.
if you go in our bathroom downstairs,
Mhm.
it's fine. But upstairs, it's 20 years old. It gets used all the time. I really think
Oh, that's-
it's more
okay.
of it's original to the building, this, you know what I mean? I think
Well, no,
it's-
you gave me, the demographics of the building are that restroom gets substantially more use than the men's
Yeah.
room.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, now, you know, if it ends up they give me a good price for 2 for 1, I'll look at that. But
I
I
got
just
it.
think we need to get the aesthetic stuff taken care of. That's what the patrons. So, if you are okay with that.
You don't need a motion.
No, I think you guys can just say this.
What about the bond payment issue?
Oh, I don't have that, oh, I totally skipped that. Okay, with the bond payment, the Department of Local Government Finance said that if we wanted to, we could move our payments from February and August, the 1st of February and the 1st of August, to the end of December and the end of June. What that will do is will help us when we are doing the budget and they're meeting with me, if that payment is made, to get the full amount of tax dollars we should get to make the bond payment. Does this make sense? So part of the issue is we have a healthy bank account. The problem is moving is I'm gonna have to ask county council to go ahead and do that. It would be considered an additional appropriation because we would be making 3 payments this year as opposed to 2. But we should be able to do that fine because we'll get our tax draw before the end of December.
Is this the first or only time this has occurred? Or is it?
Yeah,
occurred
and it's
before?
very strange because, no, this has happened before where we didn't get enough
Yeah.
money. This has happened before. It's never been this
one.
severe, but it has happened before. And I thought back in 2012, there was a House bill, 1072, I know that said our property taxes are protected for debt service. And I thought that meant
Yeah.
that we got all the money.
That they were protected from debt service.
Right. But apparently that is not the case.
So is it a timing of disbursement problem or is, okay,
That plays into it.
okay.
But I think the other part of it is because we've been saving money for the building projects that we're doing, we also have a very healthy bank.
And the DLG told you the code to look at?
Yeah,
Switch that?
they gave me this operating balance and debt service fund because they were telling me they have to go by a specific formula to determine how much money we get for the debt service payment. This is confusing to me, but I'm taking them at their word, but I wanted you to know what was referred to.
And after state law changed a couple years ago, we now have to go to the county fiscal body.
Correct.
And ask for their blessing on that.
Yeah.
Correct, and you don't have to decide anything tonight. You can think about it
I'm not
because.
sure why we would do it.
Okay,
and have-
okay, well,
and have
that's
it set
fine.
so that you can start arranging it if it's
Yeah,
something everybody else wants to do.
Right.
Okay, now, the good thing about it is Regions is fine with this, Star is fine with this. It would get the debt service paid 2 months earlier.
That's, I guess what I'm thinking is it
So-
is debt services.
Well,
Avoiding
2
having
months
shortfalls.
earlier, including the 3rd payment, or 2 months earlier just because it would be over 2 months earlier?
I guess I'm saying 2 months earlier because it would be paid off not February
December.
1st of 2024, but December 31st of
December 31st.
2023.
Okay.
Would making 3 payments make a difference?
Just switch us up
on
to-
the, you know, how if you pay ahead on your,
We
will
probably
save something
could save
on-
some money on interest, but I don't know that.
Seems like
That would-
one payment, off the end.
What are the downfalls to going to the county and asking for this piece?
Well, my only concern would be if for whatever reason, the building project, I'm concerned we won't have enough cash in it.
Yeah.
That would
This
be
year.
my major concern. We have money in rainy day, but if we would have to go to rainy day to borrow it, then that has to be returned to rainy day when we get our tax draw. I mean, that's my only thing. because I don't know if we're gonna get the full amount. If we were
Right.
gonna
You thought this year,
guarantee.
you suspect or believe that we're gonna be flush this year.
Correct. I do. I suspect we'll be fine.
Okay.
Draw some money from operating fund.
Well, then, let me ask this follow-up question then. If we authorize the 3 payments, go to the county, get the permission for the 3 payments, do we have to make the 3 payments? Because if you just make the 2, we'll still be in compliance if we don't have the money to make the 3rd, right? Or are we then committed to make the 3rd?
I don't know, I'll ask the LGF and see what they say. I don't
Because
think
to me,
it's
that
gonna
would,
matter.
to me, that would, if it's
Met your
basically.
obligation
yeah.
after the
If it's
2.
if it's basically just so that we have the option to do it if we are flush in December.
Mhm.
Just to
and
move in our December payment, or-
Just basically to make that extra payment, and we've kind of got that in the bank, I'm not sure that there's a lot of downside there.
Okay, well, I'll double check with DLGF and see what they say.
Okay, and then maybe we could consider, because you want board action on that to authorize that.
We're fine. I don't really have to go to them
June.
till November or
Okay,
September.
okay.
Or
But to
December.
me, I would check to see,
Yeah,
It-
October, November.
and if, it may be how it's worded, if it's
Mhm.
left that you are authorized to do it if there are adequate funds or some
Okay.
such thing.
Just
Okay.
looking to see what kind of extra payment we were talking about. Are we talking like $200,000?
Well, it's basically what you're saying is I don't want to make it on the payment schedule that you got, I want it on a different payment schedule. They said, that's fine. You have to pay ahead to do that. You can't, we're not going to defer you an extra couple of months. So that's why we have to
Can't
make
wait
this,
till June.
the stagger step, right?
Right,
The
right,
extra
right.
payment. Okay.
Or we just made a payment, right, February 1st?
Yes, we just made it.
It's not in this, it's-
Yeah, I'd have to see the payment schedule on that, because
It's gonna be more like $134,000. But yes, I can talk to DLGF, I can get you the payment schedule and the amortization schedule. And you can look at that, but I can give that information, you, we need to talk about it more next week.
Ruby?
Okay, with that, I think I'm done with all my stuff. How are we doing on time?
perfect, we're at the monthly claims, and,
Are we doing?
yeah, that was the salary schedule and the bond payment fees, yeah. All right. Now, we're up for discussion of the monthly
Anyway, so it's just
claims.
like a month's difference that we haven't. We're prepared to change, it's just 1 month. Okay. We can do that. Does anybody have any questions about the claims? Excuse me, Chris, I didn't mean to steal your job.
Oh, that was perfectly fine.
Just came out of that.
Yeah, perfect.
So that was one of the reasons I knew that Hodges was doing the services, because I think the claim was over $1,000 the last, but I assume that's because we have lots of snow and stuff, so.
Oh, it was really big. Was that $3,000?
Yeah, I mean, it was, yes.
It's because of all the salt and when I met with the insurance person,
Yes, it was 37.
they had suggested they really like to see the sidewalks completely clear and even salt, residue of salt. So,
Oh,
that's what I was told about with my insurance.
Even salt residue gone?
They like to see salt on the sidewalk.
Oh, they like to see salt on the sidewalk. Okay, that makes, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what, we're supposed to be sweeping salt? I was
I
wondering.
thought, oh, maybe
Okay.
it was slick on
But the salt is, that makes sense, that they actually give you the right. Okay.
You got some new mats in the doors and
Yeah, I mean, we've always gotten mats, but yeah, we got an upgrade on them,
yeah. They catch that salt as you walk in.
yeah.
I just have a question, you know, watching the closings yesterday, I saw a lot of libraries closed. Just how do you make that call, or do you, I mean.
It didn't even occur to me to close, honestly. I mean, I don't do what other libraries do necessarily. Sometimes I agonize over them, as Chris can tell you. But it did not occur to me to close yesterday. And all my staff made it in, and I shoveled the blocks, So,
I just wondered if there was a guideline there.
no, mostly it's I call Chris and say,
Yeah.
what do you think? Or I
It's
call
been-
Greg and I, what
It's
do you
not based
think?
on like what the travel advisory.
Yeah, well, that-
And the thing for me was the government center.
Yeah,
When the
that's-
government
the
center
government
closed, I'm like,
That's-
oh, okay.
Our conversation was the Tuesday before the Wednesday or Thursday, the government,
Mhm.
with the county building had closed. And I told you at that point that I had already closed my office for Wednesday, and that I was going to wait to see it on Thursday.
Mhm.
And that's, I think, what you ended up doing too, so it was,
You just kind of,
Yeah, I
some of
just
those
called her.
libraries pose a lot.
Yeah, it's
And
like-
I don't want us to be in that.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, because we
Yeah,
were
there's a
talking
lot
that
of
a lot of
kids.
the students that,
Sure.
but then having them get them here to the library was the other issue, and going back one way or the other.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
So, but no, that was, yeah, it was, my goodness, that was a little bit longer of a conversation about those 2 days.
Well, and that's
Yeah,
okay.
it was.
There is a specific procedure set forth in the policy manual.
Well, I thought, it's probably in my notebook.
Well, no, it is, and it does basically say it's gonna be her call, and she checks with the president. And then the reason I got involved was because Chris was in class or something like that.
Where's
100%
the
couldn't
library
be.
that's called, whose name is Carnegie Library?
Steuben County.
Well, they did get it really bad. I mean, they could close a lot, but they've been getting, worse than.
Yeah, but,
It just made me think.
no, the recommendation was, well, as soon as the county building's closed, the
Yeah,
post
that's a
library.
pretty,
Yeah.
Anybody have any other questions on the monthly claims?
I will move that we pay the claims as presented.
Motion to approve the claims, do we have a second? Moved and second, all those in favor of approving the monthly claims? Aye. Motion carries. And that brings us to adjournment unless someone has anything else they would like to discuss.
I saw a library, is it Auburn, that did away with their fines. See, that's just in the last couple weeks or months.
Was it Auburn or was it?
Well, I
think it was
was-
Albion and Kendallville have.
Maybe that,
oh, it was on the,
yeah, it was, they had decided to not charge fines anymore.
Oh, fine. Because it's not.
I have,
Overdue,
I-
missing after 20 days, right?
and what they'll do is, like right now, if somebody has materials out and it takes them a while to get them back, they have 60 days and then they're sent to the prosecutor for us to get our materials back. If you go fine free, they have 28 days. On the 28th day, you go through that. I am really reticent in going fine free because I think people need to be responsible for our materials. I know some libraries have gone that way because they want to bring people back to the library.
Is that the benefit, is that they picked up the people?
They're bringing people, that it's a barrier for people to use the library because they pay fines.
I thought it was because it was such a hassle for the clerks and staff to.
Well, I don't know, that's why I was asking.
It's not worth the.
I think you can make that argument if you want, but it's not that big a deal. It's really not a big deal to collect fines, and then you're holding people responsible for your materials. So
The publicity made it sound like they were just doing it to be nice.
And
It's the way it was covered on TV.
in this day and age, with computers and phones, when you can renew a book
Be there to sign them.
on your phone or your computer,
At this point, I had not thought to even bring it to you guys for discussion, because I honestly felt like you guys would want us to still
Oh, yeah.
find.
if we would even consider something like that, I guess I would suggest one of those MSD days or something first. And I don't know if those are.
We do read-away fines, we just had that,
I saw that, and
so you
I
can come and
never-
read away your
okay.
fines, or bring food in and.
Oh, campus.
Edit society or whatever.
I don't have strong feeling one way or the other, but I just thought it was interesting. Plus all the other publicity the Allen County Library is getting every day, yeah.
Move.
Hey, Don, can I
moving-
get that paper back?
I can get both, yeah, they're going.
Libraries are hot.
That, the one right.
I move
Not
that we
that one.
adjourn
That
the
one you
meeting.
can't. I
the
wanted the one
right
with the
hand.
pretty little
Yeah, the better-
rainbow color,
one?
that one. the
Yeah.
better
Okay.
business.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you guys adjourn?
Not yet.
I just
Make a
moved.
Motion to adjourn.
No second. yet.
Yeah, it's been a second. Second. Okay. Moved and seconded, we adjourn our meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
That was an eye.
Aye,
I
okay.
just was a little
Meeting
soft.
adjourned. We're good.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, appreciate it.